The Tokyo Zodiac Murders is one of the thorniest mysteries I have ever read. There are so many clues, and the solution when it comes is so brilliant, it just made my jaw drop. But it's not a book that I've ever picked up again after I finished it. I think about how well it was constructed, but I wouldn't say it's a work of literature. Sometimes this is exactly what you want, but sometimes you wonder, couldn't someone take the mystery genre and maybe elevate it? Push it a little bit further to say something really deep and insightful about human nature. So this is the second of two videos where I'm looking at authors who tried to do just that. In the first video, we talked about literary authors and what happened when they tried the mystery crime genre. And in this video, I want to talk about crime writers, mystery writers, and the time when maybe they elevated their work to a place where I think they reached a place that could be considered literature or even a great American novel. And one book that I would talk about if I hadn't already talked about it, American Tabloid by James Ellroy. This is one of my favorite all-time novels. I think it says something so special about what it means to be an American and the type of ways that we think about our history as a country and as a culture. But since I've already ranted about this book, I'm going to find three new ones. And the first of those is The Talented Mr. Ripley by Patricia Highsmith. Now, this is the dark side of the Jay Gatsby, Great Gatsby sort of story. It's a story about a low-level con man, but maybe the full extent of the evil of her main character is not really understood at the beginning of the book. And what you get to do is travel along with this person as he is asked by a rich family. They've mistaken him for the best friend of one of their sons. And they say, can you go to Europe and maybe see if you can convince him to come back to America? When Ripley gets there, he realizes he doesn't want to go back. He loves this lifestyle. He loves hanging out with these rich people, and he will do anything to stay there. I think what's so insightful about this book is the growth of that character. He doesn't seem to be that bad a guy, just kind of low-level, amoral person at first. And by the end of the book, he's one of history's, or not history's, but like literature's great villains. You get to take that journey with him and see how the Jay Gatsbys of the world, that American dream, when pushed to its logical end, can take you to some fairly dark places. The second mystery novel that I find myself thinking about all the time is Cards on the Table by Agatha Christie. I have it here in this volume of 4 or 5 of her books. And when I say I think about it, I think about the book, but even more, I think about her very short foreword to the book, where she sends a warning to the reader about the type of book they're about to find themselves in. There is an idea prevalent that a detective story is rather like a big race. A number of starters, likely horses and jockeys, you pays your money and you takes your choice. The favorite is, by common consent, the opposite of the favorite on a race course. In other words, he's likely to be a complete outsider, spot the least likely person to have committed the crime, and in 9 times out of 10, your task is finished. Since I do not want my faithful readers to fling away this book in disgust, I prefer to warn them beforehand, this is not that kind of book. It goes on from there, and I think she felt it necessary to add this forward because there's only 4 possible people who could have committed the crime. You've got a 25% chance of being right just by sort of throwing a dart at the wall. And she wants to warn you, the traditional ways we think about mysteries, those big shocking reveals at the end, it's not going to help you in Cards on the Table. And that sort of meta commentary on the mystery genre, a genre which, she helped define it, right? There's an Agatha Christie type of story. And here she commented on her own writing and the ways in which we approach stories like that. And third, I want to talk about The Cartel by Don Winslow. I've read a bunch of Don Winslow books. He's a really good writer, maybe not like James Ellroy sort of level, but definitely right beneath that with the Joe Lansdales and the George Pelecanos, those great gritty crime writers. But in The Cartel, he really took everything to the next level. Now, this is the second book in a trilogy of books he wrote about the war between a DEA agent and a drug kingpin down in Mexico. Over the course of these books, do yourself a favor, definitely read all 3. It really charts the evolution of both of these characters, as well as just the evolution of America's war on drugs and Winslow's opinion on the way that we fight it. But the Cartel itself is a different breed from the other two books. The middle section of this book, it almost feels like Blood Meridian or like 2666 or one of those classic violent books where the author seems out to numb you with this just reportage, this just like ongoing list of crimes. And by the end of it, you're starting to lose track of who's killing who and why, and what does it mean to even have an atrocity when every single atrocity's only goal seems to be worse than the atrocity that came before it. I think that this is a work of fiction that should probably be discussed a lot more than it is in a lot more serious ways, because it really gets to the core of some of America's policies, as well as being a great story of two characters and their war against each other, the way it sort of illustrates this war between America and itself and the cartels. So there you have it, Counting American Tabloid. That was 4 great books, 4 crime writers who wrote a lot of great books, but maybe had one that stands out as a piece that was just not just a great mystery, but a work of literature. I hope this isn't too annoying. I'm going to tag this video with the trailer for my own mystery novel that just came out. Helena has sort of an Agatha Christie setup to it. So if that's the type of book you like to read, check it out.